Welcome everybody to the Hypetrain podcast. My name is Hannes and I'm joined by my co-host, the Ellie to my Joel, Mr. Martin Molin. How are you, my dear friend?
I'm very, very good. Thank you, my dear friend. What is Ellie and Joel?
That's a Last of Us reference, since I've been playing last week and we finished it this night actually at 3 o'clock in the morning.
So I am your 6-year-old child.
She's 19 in part 2, so that's okay. You're my 19-year-old surrogate daughter.
That is very close to reality. That's exactly how I feel, so I'm happy. I'm happy. Also, you finished the game in this weekend?
Yeah, we had two sessions. Well, the first one was 10 and a half hours, and yesterday, 12 hours, I think, something like that.
Wow.
So we beat it.
Was it awesome?
It was fantastic. I loved almost every second of it. It's a challenging game mentally and morally and everything in between. It's probably the grimmest game I've ever played. Like, everything is so dark and bleak and violent, but also beautiful. And it questions you as a player more than any other game I ever played, so it's interesting. You finally get to like feel sorta empathy for people you're killing, and you're questioning, is it right to just go and kill thousands of people in a game? Aren't there any consequences ever?
It makes me think of the classical trolley problem where there is like 2 train tracks, and on one train tracks you have one person, and on the other train track it's 5 persons, and then you get like the question, should you pull the lever or not? I guess the whole game is like just like a series of those kind of problems.
Yeah, kinda. And especially like you get to see some consequences of the actions you take prior. When you're in a game and you get beaten and everybody's attacking you, your defense is, okay, I need to like take them out, but you never think about the consequences on their end. And here you get some from their end at least. But hey, it's too dark and grim for us to talk about here on the podcast. Let's talk about some sunshine histories.
So I looked up the original trolley problem. So the trolley problem is a thought experiment in ethics, modeling, and ethical dilemma. It is generally considered to represent a classic clash between 2 schools of moral thought, utilitarianism and deontological ethics. Do nothing and allow the trolley to kill the 5 people on the main track, or pull the lever and it will only kill 1 person. Like, is it morally, you decide to kill the other person. If you don't intervene, those 5 would die. But if you do intervene, you have actually, with your actions, killed the 1 person.
Those games are not designed like that at all.
Okay.
You're following a main story, but you get to see what happens, kinda, more or less. And you get some more... You, as a player, you're questioning your actions as, okay, is it all right to kill thousands of people in a game just for pure entertainment? So it's one of those games where you're like holding the controller and feeling, maybe this isn't right what I'm doing right now.
So it's been a huge debate always now if video games makes us violent, and I'm thinking, when you see a football match and when you see the audience, it's so obvious that this is a modern version of the gladiators. I think we have these dark rooms within us. We're an evolved animal and if we're pretending that we don't have any darkness in us, I think that's really dangerous, because we do. And maybe like a game like you just played is just actually a great outlet to visit those dark rooms and kind of even get to know yourself, like you're saying. I mean, are you inspired to go out and make violence in the actual world now after playing it?
No, and then that has never been the case with any video game I've played. But this games especially makes you think even more about, okay, how you should treat people. And every action you have has consequences. Even more so than when you're watching a movie or reading a book, because here you are controlling the player. And they do stuff, you can't control it, but you need to push a button as they do the stuff they do. And you can't turn away, you need to like kill someone, and you're the one doing it. The game doesn't progress until you do it. So you're sitting there like, oh, what am I doing? Why am I keep hitting this person? No, stop it.
That's the thought you should have thought in that hockey match. Like, here's the problem I have, Hannes. All of a sudden, he wasn't wearing a helmet maybe in the game. Was that it? Oh, okay, no, it was... You didn't have gloves. You were not 13 years old. Okay, yeah, it's not at all the same thing.
I didn't have a moral compass back then, okay? I've evolved.
We're referring to Hannes' proudest sporting memory that you relayed in episode 1, I think, of the Hypetrain podcast.
1 or 2. Yep.
1 or 2. Where Hannes told the story about him winning something in sport, which was the most penalty minutes for a whole season, after what he described was a scandal. And then he told the story about him beating up a player from the other team. And then the outrage was that the penalty was too severe.
Yeah. And everybody agreed. I did what had to be done. Just leave it at that. It was a heroic moment for my team, at least. But as you said, after playing Last of Us 2, now I understand there's another person on the other end of that story. Wonder what happened to him.
I wonder what would happen if you contacted that guy now and said, hey, I just want to say, like, do you need to talk about what happened?
He probably will kill me.
Oh my God. For anyone who doesn't know Hannes, he's the least violent person in the world, basically. That's why this is so fun.
Okay. Yeah. You're probably right. I'm more of a cuddly bear.
Yes.
What have you been doing this week, Martin?
Yeah, I have been ecstatic for one reason only. Can you guess?
You haven't played Last of Us, so... I don't know. Have you been training, my friend?
No, not that.
No?
Last Thursday, I was nervous the whole day for something you were going to do on the evening.
Oh, you mean my bench pressing?
So, last Thursday, Hannes tried his 150 kilo bench press, and this is something you tried 8 months ago and failed, and it took you really hard. So walk us through your Thursday. What happened?
Basically, I've never been so nervous, I think, in my whole life. It was so strange. Like, the hours before the lift, I was starting to have, like, shaking a little bit, because it's such a fun thing how numbers and special achievements really can... You identify by them, and this failure was so big in my head for so long.
Yeah.
Like, this was one of the records I set out to beat this year, and I failed so miserably last time. So I've been training really hard for the last 2 months now to get my revenge on it. But I was so nervous. Can I really do it? And I've done similar weights. It's like, it shouldn't be a big deal, but that whole number, 150, is like, oh, it was so psychologically hard on me. Like, can I really do it?
And you also invited your friends to the gym, so you actually had audience for the try.
Yeah, we were like 4 or 5 people there.
Yeah.
To give me even more reason to not fail.
Yeah. Was
But-
that why did you think you invited them, or did they ask to come?
It started with me inviting them because I was so nervous that I was going to be alone if anything happened. Really, nothing can really happen, but it would be nice to have some people there. So, and it gives me like, okay, now they got here, I can't fail then. Also, and it was it was so interesting 24 hours before the lift also, because the last like 2 weeks I've been starting to diet a bit more, so I've been a little bit lower on energy, and I knew if I was going to be able to do the 150 kilo lift, I needed some extreme amounts of energy. So the last 24 hours I was eating so much. I basically like ate almost 1 kilo of spaghetti and minced meat and like a bag of chips and some candy, just to have some empty calories and a lot of energy. So I remember on the Thursday I had to force myself to eat more pasta just so I could feel super strong, and a lot of caffeine. And it paid off, because you know what? I did it.
Yeah.
It flew up quite easy actually. And
That is
I don't think I've ever been so relieved of anything. Ever since Thursday I've been walking so lightly. Yeah, I don't know. And the fun thing, I was eating so much and like, okay, now I must have gained a couple of kilos. I've lost 100 grams instead. So you can imagine, like, I pushed my body quite hard that day.
Hannes, woot. I've been so happy. I was so nervous for you. I had the acoustic team from ID Acoustic here working on my music studio, and we were over at their house having dinner in the evening, discussing French politics. And you were doing your lift, and I was waiting for your video. And when it came, I was just so relieved, because I knew how much this meant for you and what it meant for you. And it was so fun, because in another episode of the Hypetrain podcast, we talked about the good is enough expression, and that I'm having problem with good is enough, and that I was going to tease you basically by asking you if you took more. So I can do that now. Did you lift more?
I tried more. As soon as it went up, I'm like, okay, let's add 10 kilos to it.
Yeah.
But in my head, I felt already like, I don't think I will be able to do it.
No.
So I failed quite miserably on it. But I think on a good day, I can do it quite, not easily, but I can do it. But I was so mentally drained after succeeding with the 150 lift. So I didn't have it in me. You need to have tension, and all the tension was gone. I had achieved what I set up to do. So, yeah.
Yeah, but Hannes, I don't think you should worry so much about that, because good is enough. And I ruined my own joke because your sister, in the video where you're doing the lift, your sister is like, you're going like, and it's up and you're off the bench, and she's like, 10 more kilo. So that was like her first reaction. So I was like, you go with the goodest. She almost did like the good is enough taunting there and then. No, but I wrote to you a text later in the evening that you did something that nothing will ever be able to take away from you. And this is something you will always remember. And I just want to say a big congratulations from me and everyone listening, because this is really epic what you have done.
Yeah, thank you. And finally, I can let it rest for a bit. Like, this was in my mind for so long. I didn't think it meant so much, but it's strange how a number can be so like engraved in your mind. Like I had done 147.5 kilos. And my mind was always, I need 150. I need an even number. And like that's a magical like limit you want to reach, or a magical goal you want to reach. So I was like, it's just 2.5 kilos more. But it was so psychological. And when I failed it, and the fail was just my technique just fell apart. I had a bad lift. I would have done it back then also, I think. But just the technique wasn't there. And I stretched something in my back and like, okay, I don't want to try this for a couple of weeks. And then I got scared and ran away from it for a while. And then I went after other lifts and I did everything I wanted to do on those. And this was the last stop. So now finally, I will not chase any more records for a while. Now I will just train for funsies.
So walk us through, because you've been training, can you give us the numbers, your 3 records? Because that's a thing in competition, and the total. So what do you have now?
So what is it? I have 150 kilos in bench press, 230 kilos in deadlift, and 200 in squats.
Wow.
So I don't know what that adds up to, but yeah.
I can get a calculator because I can't do my 150 plus 230 plus 200.
Yeah.
580 in the total.
Okay, so I need to add 20 in some lifts. Okay, I need 600 now. I got a new number to focus on. Thank you, Martin. No, I'm so happy. I'm so happy, actually. It was one of those big kind of demon on your shoulders.
Yeah.
So I conquered it. I slayed the dragon.
That was well done. It's easy
Thank
to
you.
walk away from the dragon, and you were like walking away, dragging your sword behind you, and then you were just looking up at the sky and you were, no, I can't stand for this. And you turned around, you walked straight to the dragon cave. It sticked out its little nasty head and you just chopped it off in one clean 150 kilo blow.
Now that's poetry.
I've been thinking about accountability and how important it is for anyone being inspired by your Trainerds Instagram and the way you're inspiring me to start with training. I think the accountability is so important. I think that's why we're often talking to friends, telling friends that we're trying things. Sometimes it's like, why are you talking about this? But I think it is because you want to tell your friends about your intentions because you actually kind of want them to ask you, how is it going? And this accountability is something that I think everyone should not underestimate, how helpful it is to just like have someone where you say like, I'm going to do this. And then when the day comes when you should do it, maybe you don't really feel like it, but then, I told Hannes I was going to do it, so now I have no choice. That thing is really efficient, I think. And you do that very well. I think maybe that's also why you wanted your friends around you in a way. Maybe I'm the fragile snowflake that needs accountability. Maybe you have your own accountability.
I have my own accountability, but I want like what is it called?
Give me a synonym.
I'm blacking out here completely.
Yeah, and the good thing for the listeners is that we're not editing this anymore, so...
No, there you go. Me totally blanking out on such a word.
This is a raw food restaurant and we're opening the spaghetti package and pouring the spaghetti dry on your plate. Happy chewing. I actually listened to our last episode, Hannes, in the car, and I was so surprised. I actually liked it almost better than the edited ones because it was like, I don't know, it was a little but it felt honest and raw. And I mean, that was the whole purpose with us recording our conversations, that we wanted an outlet where we could be a little bit more uncensored and a little bit more free. So the rawness of the pasta really comes through, and I love it.
Yeah, and a lot of people have reached out and like told us to keep it unedited. They like listening to two friends talk. So thank you for bringing those comments. And if you have comments like that, you can just post them on YouTube, or you can mail us at contact@hypetrainpodcast.com and stuff like that. I read everything and try to answer them also.
And then Hannes tells me the comments that I can handle. So
far there's none negative. So since we're so lowbrow right now, we don't market this at all. So right now, everyone that's listening is a fan, I feel like. So, by the way, affirmation was the word I was searching for. Of course, I add the lifts on Instagram for affirmation. You can't forget that. I want people to tell me that I'm a good boy.
If I could escape from that in my life, that would be a huge thing. I think Stoicism has a lot to teach me here. I'm constantly thinking about, I'm constantly second guessing what other people think. It's just built into me since childhood, and it's one of the most useless exercise you can do, actually. So I understand, but you feel like a strange mix, because of course you want to put up the lifts on Instagram, but if you had 0 followers and 0 likes, you would put the lifts up anyway.
Yeah, I think it's a strange mix, because I really don't care what anybody thinks, but somehow I want to try to inspire others. So I guess that's my way of showing by doing, and kind of perhaps someone will get inspired about the things I do. But I really don't care. Like if someone tells me they're not impressed, or if they're like attacking my technique or something, I don't give a shit about that. So I just want to put it out that, of course, it's nice when people tell you like, oh, great job. But mostly, if I get one more person to try it out, I'm happy.
Yeah, that's a good one. You asked me about my weekend.
Yes, here we go.
And your exercise program has been going great, actually.
Yes.
So I've been doubling the weights, and it's still easy. And I feel super proud when I put another weight on my adjustable dumbbells. And I do feel that the dumbbells are getting a little bit heavier to handle,
yes,
to get ready in position for the lifts and stuff. And I'm really excited to see. But so far, I feel after I done a training session, I kind of feel like maybe I kind of maxed out on 1 of 3 or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
It's very much early days still. So I'm going to keep on adding weights, and I'm very, very excited. So now I doubled weights in both the different routines, and I haven't missed a day so far. So it's going good. And
it makes me proud. You always text me, I'm heading out now to do your exercise.
It's
warms
ridiculous.
my heart.
It's your accountability that I'm after. No, I'm very excited. I filmed myself doing pull-ups, and it was really, really good, because I looked 2% as cool as I felt. I thought I was super cool doing these pull-ups, you know? And then I saw myself on the film. This film will never surface the earth, I can say.
Yeah, you didn't even send it to me. You usually send everything, and I haven't seen that one.
I have to say that we have not reached that level in our relationship yet.
10 more years.
10 more years. No, but it was funny because I felt really cool. Yeah, I'm gonna just see my posture, you know. And I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, then who is that? So that, but it was funny because that actually increased my motivation. Like, okay, this forward head posture that I have is ridiculously present in my form. So I really should keep on filming myself and keep on like putting my keep on straightening my whole body. I'm basically like a banana in the body, stomach forward, ass like out, head down. So if I'm like I'm like an S that should be written the other way around, you know, like a kid. I'm like a kid S. That's what I am in my.
I love it.
I'm like a 3-year-old writing the S the wrong way. That's my posture when I film myself from the side doing pull-ups. But then on the Saturday, after doing the pull-ups with the bad posture on video, I tried swimming 2 kilometers and it went really well. I'm an awful swimmer, so I do breaststroke, but I can't do the correct breathing. So basically you should go under the water and breathe out and then just come up very shortly to breathe in and then go under again because it gets so much faster and easier.
Yeah.
And then I have to swim with a t-shirt because the sun is so strong, so I don't burn my shoulders. And then I was like, my counter that I built in plywood goes to 2 kilometers. I was like, I'm going to try 2 kilometers. And it took 2 hours, which means that I swam slower than 1 kilometer per hour.
But you did it though.
Yeah, it's going to be funny because I know I can chop 10 minutes off this time. I'm going to do this every Saturday. I thought it's so nice. And I'm aiming to chop off, I think I can chop off 10 minutes easy, just having more decent technique. So I've been looking a little breaststroke technique on YouTube, but I was scared of water until I was, like 10 years old, 14 years old. I'm still a little bit scared of water, so I'm a bad swimmer. But what happened was that I burnt my legs and my arms inside the water to death. They're like strawberry colored. So today I've been just reading Wheel of Time and being like a fallen hero from the burn pains. It was not good. Like without a t-shirt, I would have burnt my whole back.
Yeah. You need to chop off some minutes on that time so you don't get burnt to a crisp. I see your arms right now; they're really red.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's like when my sister always said vanilla strawberry ice cream big pack. You know when? Do you remember the Swedish big pack ice cream?
Oh yes.
So the story is that they were always in like 2-liter plastic packages. I always built drum kits from the ice cream plastic boxes. I put rice in the snare drum, nothing in the kick drum, and then and then the strawberry cream and the vanilla ice cream is in the same box, but there's like a sharp line between the red and the white ice cream, and basically that's how my arms are looking right now. Anyway, Hannes, thanks for the inspiration. And as always, Hannes' amazing program, we leave a link to Hannes' program in the show notes. If anyone wants to try, we've been talking about this every Hypetrain episode, but the cool thing is that since I'm starting so light, I can increase every week.
Yeah.
And that just creates a kind of a super nice reward when I go into my spreadsheet afterwards and fill in the new weights.
Yeah,
seeing
small
the total
progression
going
is the way.
Small progression, that's what you taught me.
Yeah, you always feel like you're doing progress and you're always winning. Like almost every workout is a new record, and like you're feeling the progress going all the time.
Yeah, and also when you start with something like this, the main problem is not to lift the dumbbell. The main problem is to put on the clothes and going out and find the time in the day. So you're already in the beginning up against like this habit building problem. So you're already having that to deal with.
So like, go put on your clothes, go outside, do your workout, and it's super hard, then it's just gonna be like associated with hardness, and like you don't need that when you start working out. You need everything to be kind of fun and easy at the beginning, so you forge the habit first. So that's why you should always start light. And that also, it's the same with cardio. Like you should always start with going out on walks. And that's been so fun. Like this week, I had the first new Trainerds step challenge. And we were like 22 people like, competing for the most steps in a week. And it's so interesting because it's easily the best competition there is, because you like encourage each other so much. I remember one of the nights I came home like 10, 11 something at night. I've been working the whole day with a video here, and I went into the app and saw like, 2 people had like walked 10,000 more steps than me that day. So okay, I can't go to bed now. I need to go out and do another walk. So like, they're always encouraging me to head out.
So is it finished yet, the competition?
Yeah, it finished. And I have to report that I came at 2nd place at best and 3rd place in... We had 3 competitions going at the same time. So I didn't win. And that's my own fault, because I was partying Friday night, so I was hungover and playing video games till Saturday. So, yeah, that's my fault.
Who won then? Shout out to the winner.
It's one of them is an old Vintergatan follower, actually. Robbie, I think his name is.
Ah, nice. Shout out to Robbie. Well done.
And the winner in another group was, I think his name is Per, a Swedish guy.
Shout out to Per.
Yeah, so it was brilliant. I love this, and I will start a new one shortly. So just follow the Trainerds Instagram account and you all can join on this. It's so fantastic. Like, we have like chat rooms in the competitions, and people can post pictures from their walks and stuff like that. And it's so cool when you're like walking here in Sweden, posting a picture, and like 10 minutes later there's a picture from Japan. Like
cool.
Something like that. And it's so brilliant. Like to see people from all around the world just walking, getting healthier by the step.
I have been following the chess drama this weekend, because there's been a tournament called the Chessable Masters, and so since chess is getting so much online presence now, the players are
of sports.
Yeah, exactly. The players are trash talking each other more and more on social media, which is in a very, very nice way to each other. So there's a lot of like build up before certain chess matches on Twitter. Basically, I'm not on Twitter, but I am hearing the banter.
Gossip.
Yeah, and it's fun, because it's like this. I mean, chess, it's like the intelligent sport or something like that, and then it's just these dank memes like that go with it. It's just a great combo, you know. And then in this tournament, it was a build up from the beginning, because Anish Giri won one group, and Magnus Carlsen, the Norwegian world champion, won the other group. And then one of them made like a hush sign, like with a finger before the mouth to the camera after winning one game, like mic drop, like shut up, I won, you know. And then there was like this build up between these two, like Magnus said something to Anish like, see you in the finals. And then of course both Magnus and Anish played like super dramatic quarter and semifinals, and both players of course went into the final, and it was like this huge build up between these two players. And Anish usually doesn't play the finals, if I understand it correctly, so he did super well. And then it was the clash of the titans. And then it's funny because Magnus Carlsen is so interesting to study, because he's just like this winner who... He's just a winner mentality, you know. It comes out of his ears when you see him. And he's a super nice guy, but not when it comes to competition. And I think I'm not really like that, but I'm fascinated by him in that sense.
It's the whole Michael Jordan thing.
It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And there is like they talk a lot about... They talked about actually that you need to be somewhat sadistic to be good at chess, because it's not enough to want to win. You actually really want to torture your opponent. That makes a very strong chess player.
And you're questioning my hockey story? I think you're ready for The Last of Us, actually. If you're enjoying chess that much.
That's been really fun. My own play, I have not played almost anything, but that has been fun. And another fun thing is that I'm sitting in a music studio that looks very different today, because Olivier and the team from ID Acoustic have been here, and they were like 6 people building for 4 days. So I'm sitting in a completely new room right now, and it's really looks like I should be able to make fantastic music in here very soon.
Can you feel the inspiration coming? Do you get inspired just sitting there?
Actually, yes.
Masterpieces are growing?
Yes.
Yes. Humbly, yes.
Yes. Yeah, because now we have a wooden floor, so that means I can make amazing melodies. No, but it's really cool. I think it's going to be... It's the dream of my life to have a proper own music studio, and this is like crazy music studio build over... Yeah. It's over the top in so many ways, and I absolutely love it. So I've been very busy with that, and yeah, that was my week.
Yeah, my week wasn't any different, basically. I worked on last week's video, and after that there's only been partying and video gaming. And yeah, today Formula 1 started, so I got to see some sports. And I don't consider myself a sports guy, I thought. But when the whole COVID situation happened, like, there was something missing in the background of my life all the time. I always like to have something going on in the background, the background noise of just having sports, especially like hockey and NHL and stuff like that. So when everything went silent, it was, there's nothing to follow anymore. No, like, interesting trade rumors or gossip and stuff like that. So I was so happy today, actually, that Formula 1 started. So I was at my good friend Charlie's place, and we watched the first Formula 1 race for the season. And that's also a fun thing, because I'm not a motorhead. I'm not into cars at all, and I always hated Formula 1, because when I grew up, is what my father always watched it on weekends, and I was sitting there. This is the most boring sport I've ever seen. They're going round and round and round. And then 2 years ago, I think, Charlie, my friend, he just called me up because he has no interest in sports whatsoever. And he's like, I feel like I'm missing something in my life. Can't you try to watch sports with me, Hannes? And then Netflix released the brilliant series Drive to Survive, I think it's called. It's a bad name, but a brilliant series, which is a documentary series following seasons of the Formula One championship, and you get behind the scenes and you get to see all the drama, and you get to more understand the sport. So since then, me and Charlie have been real Formula One fanatics, actually. I mean, it's a brilliant sport. Everything is like, it's just small moments all the time. Everything can change in a matter of split seconds.
Yeah.
And the drivers need to be so focused all the time. I think it's something cool about that.
Marius is into Formula E, the electric version.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but I think perhaps that could be the future.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, the acceleration will be better.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, these cars only go in 350 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, but they will be out-torqued by the electric ones.
Yeah.
Out of the curve.
When Tesla releases the Formula One car, everyone will be screwed.
Talking about Tesla, did you see the stock price?
No, I have no clue about this. You need to educate me on this.
This might be a long rant we're into here.
Bring it.
No, but I never understood what basically a stock is. I always thought it was a dubious part of the world, the whole stock market. I grew up in socialistic areas, and it was like I didn't know a single person who was investing in stocks, you know.
Yeah.
But when I started to follow Tesla, it all started when I heard about Tesla, that there was a cool electric car, Model S, and I tried to rent one. This was 2014. I rented a Tesla Model S and drove through whole Europe on a vacation using the supercharger network. So this was 2014, 6 years ago, and it was a pure joy to drive through Europe, like 3,000 kilometers. 4,000 kilometers, only charging at Tesla's charging stations at that point in time. And I was like, oh, this is the future. And then I started following the company, and then I started to get across. I found this YouTube channel called Hypetrain with a really fast talking New Yorker called Gally. He is my role model in fluent speech. I mean, if he was doing Hypetrain podcast, our episodes would be 10 minutes long. And he got me into this concept of FUD. So it's called fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And this is a strategy that is aimed at Tesla to bring the stock price down. Basically, so the reason why it's been so fun to be a Tesla fanboy is because there's been so much of the mainstream media who has been in bed with other actors that has had an incentive to spread rumors about how bad it's going for Tesla. This is called FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And then I also discovered the Now You Know YouTube channel, and I was watching the Tesla Model 3 Owners Club like 3 years ago when the Model 3 was just in the planning. And I'm basically every day watching drone footage of the Gigafactory from Berlin. They're just starting to pour the concrete base soon. So I'm following the pouring of the concrete slab in Berlin. You know, it's just a fun universe to relax in. And what I didn't know about the stock market is that you can buy a stock and say, I think this stock is going to go up. I believe in this company. I think it's going to do well. So I buy this stock for $100 and I hope that it will be worth $110 in a while. But you can also short a stock, and I don't understand how it works, but this is basically, I think this company is going to go bad. So I buy the stock for $100, and I hope it's going to be worth $90 in a while, and then I'll make money on this bet, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So you can bet on stocks in both directions. I had no clue. And Tesla's stock has been shorted at 30%. So 1/3 almost of all Tesla stock has been bought in a hostile manner, hoping for Tesla to do bad. So there's a lot of financial incentive from people, and it's not, you don't have to have so much tinfoil hat to see the connections with the oil industry in this big thing. So they have successfully kept, I think, Tesla stock very low for very long, by spreading fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and by shorting the stock, basically investing in that Tesla would go bad. And basically what happened now is that, like a few weeks ago, the stock reached, right now the market is like wakening up to that Tesla is like 10 different startup companies, which they are not. I think basically the mainstream media, the TV outlets like CNBC and stuff in the US, they have Tesla doesn't do commercials. So who are doing commercials on all the news stations? It's other car brands and oil companies, right? Tesla doesn't give them any marketing cash to these TV stations. So the TV stations had no incentives in giving them fair coverage. And what is happening now during the spring is that the market has kind of started to wake up to the revolution that actually Tesla is performing right now, and how they're outperforming all other car brands. And it looks kind of dire for the other auto manufacturers in some ways. They are very late on this ball in my world. A lot of people would disagree with me, and I am part of the hype. I am on the Tesla hype train, totally. I've been on the Tesla hype train since 2014, and I've been following this journey. And now it's a big... So for what happened right now is that for like 1.5 years ago, I heard about the S&P 500 stock list, which is apparently some kind of list that you can get into as an American company if you have like some criterias, and then like large funds start to buy the stock. And now it looks more and more likely that Tesla will be on this list. And the speculation about this has driven Tesla stock price up to $1,200 today. And that is like astronomical. And still, I think it's only the start. But I don't know, it's been so fun seeing the kind of old dinosaur world fight against this development, and now seeing it's a little David versus Goliath. Like a few days ago, Tesla's market cap value just passed ExxonMobil, a very, very famous oil company. So I think for our future, the Tesla's mission to transition transportation to sustainable energy is like just in line with a lot of people, what a lot of people wants to do with our planet. The cars are great and it's fun. They have solar, they have, they are just a modern kind of company. And Elon Musk has been, I talked about Elon Musk in a video, and I even saw some emails about people saying that Elon Musk was a bad person, because I think they thought he was kind of aggressive during the COVID crisis with factory startup. But that again is like so much misinformation has been spread about Tesla, which makes people like me even more enthusiastic to talk about the benefits about the company. Yeah. So this like big defamation campaign that has been around Elon Musk and around Tesla, it just makes like us fanboys even more frantic to defend their mission and to love them even more. It's yeah, so that's basically the only stock I'm following. I think it's so fun seeing them succeed and becoming mainstream. Yeah.
Wow, thank you for that lecture on stock market and Tesla. What are the new cool things coming from Tesla? Do you have any ideas about that? Are they finally gonna do a more like cheaper version, or are they gonna be quite expensive still? Do you know that?
No, that's absolutely going to be part of the future, because what they're doing now and what's been in the rumor is for a long time is the battery day that is upcoming. There's even a date now, I don't remember when it is, but that's basically when Tesla is going to show the new battery production line, showing the technologies that they have developed together with Maxwell. They bought Maxwell Technologies, a battery company, for their dry electrode technique, which takes away a wet part of the process when you're making batteries. So basically you can get rid of a whole oven procedure, something like that. I'm not following really the technical things, but they are really cutting edge in making batteries cheaper to produce and also more efficient. And so an electric car, full disclosure, I have a Model 3 on lease. I have a leased Model 3. Me and Hannes have been on Autobahn listening to retro wave on autopilot in 180 kilometers per hour without steering the car. So you have seen it, and I love it so much.
Yeah, I witnessed the future, all right.
Yeah, it is amazing. I put Hype T in the podcast player, and Hypetrain podcast was the only hit. I was like, yeah, Hypetrain podcast in the Tesla.
Wow.
Anyway, to answer your question, an electric car is basically a computer on wheel with a monster big battery, and the battery sits very low between all the four wheels, which makes it very safe, because when they do the side collision test, for example, if you go straight into light post and the light post hit the driver's door, the penetration of the light post into a Tesla and any electric car will be much less than in any other model, because of the huge chunky battery pack in the bottom. It's like a big skateboard that protects you. And also when you have physics on your side, because when you have a heavy engine at one side of the car and the car starts to spin, it's like a moment of inertia effect when you have the weight is not evenly divided. But in an electric car, the weight is evenly divided on all four wheels. So there's many advantages. But the cool thing is this battery day. I think they're going to show the new battery line with the new technologies. There's a lot of rumors around this. Everyone is like waiting for this hallelujah breakthroughs in batteries. And I think they are just going to chop it off and make it more and more efficient, slower, over time, I mean. But what I'm very, very excited about is the vehicle to grid. So vehicle to grid means that if you have an electric car, this doesn't have to be confined only to Tesla. If you have an electric car, you can run your house on the battery from the car, which means that you can not only put electricity into the car, you can also take electricity out. And this will, of course, help you during power outages and stuff. And it helps you if you have solar panels on your roof. You can store the electricity in the battery. But what is really cool is that they're planning to build a virtual power plant, so they can sell to electric companies the energy storage. So basically, to make renewable energy, the problem is, where do we store it? And basically, if we have a fleet of electric cars, we can put all excess energy into the battery of our electric cars. So if it's blowing a lot one day, a power company can buy the right from Tesla to store the energy in the Tesla cars, or in any electric cars. And I think this is going to be the future of our grid. The grid is going to be like stored in our cars. And I think things like that is, I have no like figures. I'm just a fanboy.
Wow. Now that was... One can hope that someone from Tesla hears this podcast. We perhaps get our first sponsor.
No.
They
They are drowning in people who wants to lick their boots.
Okay.
They are just gonna say, "Oh, another one. Go into the line." But also Hannes, the Cybertruck.
My dream vehicle.
Yeah, but I mean, it has been on exhibition now for the public somewhere in the US for the first time. And the images now I see coming out of that, people standing in front of it, are crazy. So what was so cool with the Cybertruck unveil was that when it rolled out, I had the same reaction that everyone else. What did they just do? Because it was like this sad synthesizer pad to make it be a little like futuristic, like
yeah.
That was
they
lying
were
over.
They were really going for Blade Runner, totally.
It was just okay, let's create a dystopian atmosphere.
Yeah,
and that was all cool until they broke the window and Elon got super sad. And he was like skipping slides in his presentation because he was so disappointed. And when that thing rolled out, I was like, oh no, what have they done? And they showed it from the side, which is like it's absolutely the most dramatic design thing. And it took me 24 hours to learn to love it. And basically I'm so impressed that they made a product that we didn't know that we wanted, but it was basically out of their imagination, and they just went for it. And I am absolutely positive that this will change how trucks are constructed, because it's not the old structure with a skeleton and then skin on top. It's an exoskeleton from stainless steel. So they skipped the paint shop, which is like 1/4 of a car factory, and basically it's indestructible. And basically if you want accessories, you can just weld your own accessories to the side of your car.
Oh no, don't get this in your hands. There's gonna be a lot of welding on that one.
I'm just gonna weld a little marble track on the side,
You're driving around and there's always marbles running around the car.
Yes.
Playing music. Oh my God.
And then I buy the Vintergatan registration sign like all stupid people.
Well, you have to give it to them at least that they did something that no one else had done. Finally, someone had some balls and did something totally different.
Yeah, but
like you said, you hated it when you saw it the first time, and then like, okay, at least they did something new. Love it or hate it, it's new at least.
And so I've been hearing a lot too. They design things from first principle, or from what they say from the ground up. And what I'm seeing, all the other car companies. I saw a Mercedes commercial yesterday that was just like, okay, that's why Tesla stock is 1,200 and I think it's low. The commercial was like a cool girl walking up to a guy, and she was like, "So you drive electric?" And he was like, "No, I drive Mercedes."
Oh no.
And Mercedes, if you're listening, this is the commercial you should have made. "Hey, so you drive electric?" "Yeah, and I drive Mercedes."
Oh.
Like, okay, that car I want to buy, an electric Mercedes. Don't like say, "Oh, unfortunately this car is electric." Like if you're like pandering to what was like popular 10 years ago. Now, so the other car manufacturers, I see there's some difference. I'm very proud over Polestar, the Chinese Volvo, for example. But they are designing the cars as they were always designed, but just putting an electric motor in instead. While Tesla really think about how they can build the best car from the ground up. And the Cybertruck, I think, is the most stark example of that design process. I'm really, really impressed by this. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And this made me hate Mercedes even more. Talking about Formula One.
Why did you hate Mercedes?
Yeah, well, just Formula One. They're the boring car company. They always win. That's the one thing that's so great about Formula One. It's so one-sided because Mercedes always has probably the most money, and they always has the best cars, and they have the best drivers. They have Lewis Hamilton, and like all the other companies, they're like, it's 18 underdogs in a race because everybody wants to beat Mercedes. And then you have my favorite driver is Max Verstappen, who drives for Red Bull. Like Red Bull entered, they're not a car company. They're like, we have a lot of money and we love driving fast, so let's make a Formula One team. So that's my favorite to root for. Then you of course have Ferrari and stuff like that, but Mercedes, they're the cocky, like, well, we have the most money and the best engineers right now, so we win all the time. And Lewis Hamilton, it's gotta be some dark shit about him because he's always so nice. He can't be that nice and always win. I feel, yeah, he's a serial killer down under. No, he's great, of course, but it's, yeah, you always root for. Today, in this first race, Mercedes got gearbox issues, and we were both, me and Charlie, like, yes, it's happening. They're gonna lose. They still managed to get the other driver, Valtteri Bottas, he won, and fortunately Lewis Hamilton got a time penalty, so he ended up on 5th place, I think, so that was a big win for us. So yeah, it's like, yeah, I have something against Mercedes just because they make the sport so one-sided. So like, you root for all the other cars.
Yeah, it's something nice to go for the underdog, and Tesla was the underdog for so long, and it's kind of maybe difficult soon when they're not going to be the underdog anymore. I'm thinking, like, if they're becoming too dominant, if they're becoming like, for example, if they are the ones getting a kind of monopoly on full self-driving, there is a future where Tesla could become an Amazon company, style company, and that is not good, of course.
Yeah, that's the danger of being first with everything, and like their whole ecosystem, like they're so far ahead of all the others.
Yeah,
so that could be a danger, of course.
The 3 of the German car manufacturers, I don't remember exactly who.
Everyone
it was, like,
but Mercedes.
Okay, got together to. Oh, do you know, or are you joking?
I'm just joking.
Okay. No, I think it was like BMW, Mercedes, and Audi, or something like that. I don't remember exactly. Got together now to develop software for their cars together, because they're basically, which is smart, of course, because they can develop then one operation system, and they don't have to do 3. So that's a competitive advantage. But it also says that they see that Tesla is too far ahead on the software side. And it is the iPhone. The Model 3 was called the iPhone moment of the car industry. Yeah. And that is what it is. Every week, the car can do new things. Now it can stop for red lights, and it drives for green lights. It can turn
all by
off.
Itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
otherwise it wasn't that oppressive. I'm like, okay, that's basic.
And the other car manufacturers are still like offering people updates by coming into the dealership. This is another very interesting thing with Tesla, actually. Tesla doesn't sell their cars through third-party dealerships. The car wranglers, is that a word?
Probably.
The car sales persons.
The car crooks.
Car crooks. The middleman, it's very... I'm thinking a lot with Vintergatan. I'm trying to cut out middleman, and digital distribution has made that very, very nice. You can cut out most middleman, sometimes not. For example, if I put out my record on Spotify is a middleman. I can also have a record label in between that is a middleman, etc., etc. And the car dealerships was exactly middleman. So Ford makes a car, Ford sells the car to a dealership. So the dealership buys the car for a cheaper amount, and then it's the job of the dealership to sell this car to the customer. Tesla skipped that whole step, and what is happening now is that the margins on electric cars from the other car brands is so low, so the dealerships aren't making any money on the electric cars. So all the other brands are having a very hard time explaining for the dealerships why they should sell cars at a loss, basically. And this makes it was very interesting during COVID that it was easier for Tesla to sell their cars because they're selling them online on the website. So it's just this simple little modern approaches that, I don't know. I think I saw this a little bit in the record label industry when pirating came, that all the record labels spent the first 15 years trying to find out how they could sue people for pirate downloading.
Napster, Metallica.
Yeah, that whole thing. Again, I only know it through the South Park. The child will never get his tropical island. Have you seen that episode? They're doomed. Recording artists are doomed to a life in semi-luxury. Britney had to sell her Falcon 4 jet and buy a Falcon 3 jet. It doesn't even have a remote control to the DVD surround system. You don't think it's a big deal? Not a big deal. Pirating music or typ så här. It starts like with the kids downloading music and the choppers come in and they're like this SWAT team coming in through the window. Yeah, but anyway, the record labels, they just tried to complain about this for 15 years, and then someone created Spotify and just made the record labels more or less useless. They're trying to make a case for being useful, but TuneCore, digital aggregators like that, who understood like, okay, digital distribution is something good for musicians, something good for music listeners. Like let's try to look forward. And I think what I'm seeing in what my biased Tesla eyes and ears are hearing anyway, is that the other big car brands have very old business models that are still working, so they're clinging on to them, but they are going to become basically as popular as CDs are right now.
Oh.
Yeah. That's my prediction, Hannes Paradis. What do you think?
Wow. I mean, how can I top that? That was a defense speech worthy of 10 out of 10.
When I was hanging out with Chris and his family, we were given the allowance of one Tesla discussion per day.
Okay, and we haven't had our today, so...
Yeah, it's enough now.
1 hour of Tesla talk.
No, was it?
This is now the Hypetrain podcast. We only talk about lifting, heavyweights, and Tesla cars. Welcome.
Oh, but wait. There are also Tesla solar roofs. You want to talk about those?
Let's leave that for next week, shall we? We're running out of stuff to talk about.
No.
There's more.
There are also the battery picker plants and the power walls.
Power wolves?
No, power walls.
Okay, yeah. Power wolves.
Yeah.
That's a cool power metal band name right there.
Power wolf. Power Wolfhausen. No, it's just something, Hannes. I'm not talking about Tesla now, I'm talking about the world. It's just something about positive news that I think is positive, that is not reported in news media. And I think the discussion...
We only want the bad.
Yeah,
the bad sells.
Drama is very... We love drama for some reason. Or maybe not love, but it takes our attention.
Yeah.
But like these things that are like quite exciting time to live, I think. These technological advances into the future.
So now, do you understand why the marble machine is so important? We need the positivity, Martin. We need some good news.
Yeah, it's like the Frodo and Sam speech for there's still some good in this world sometimes.
Oh, the most beautiful speech ever.
Can you do it?
No.
I think you can.
Not by heart. I can rehearse it until next episode. We can have it at the end of next episode, perhaps.
Then you can.
It's a long, beautiful monologue.
Then you can use the Frodo Sam duo for your intro as well. That's.
There we go.
There we go. No, but yeah, but it's the marble machine itself is such a positive project. But when I'm feeling negative about it, I would like to be more free to show that in the videos. But people react so negatively when I show myself struggling and being negative. It's so difficult. What do you think?
I don't know. The balance is so hard. Because also when we try to have more fun on the videos, people react to that as well. So I don't know. We can't win, Martin. It's impossible. We just keep on trucking, you know.
Keep on trucking. I think we have been winning lately. It's been wonderful to make the latest videos with you. It's been fun to put them out, showing some actual work, getting a good reaction from the audience that they like the videos. So I think we're winning at the moment. Actually, we should. I think we found something recently.
If we look at the broad picture of it, we've been winning for a lot of years now.
That's true. Boom.
Boom. We're winning the big battle.
Against the dragon of 150 kilos. So what is your next training goals now then?
Oh, you have to ask that right now. I'm not entirely sure, actually. I will start writing like a little list or something like that with stuff I want to achieve. But mainly right now, at least, I have one goal actually, and that is to lose 20 to 25 kilos until this fall. So in a couple, like for November, something like that. Because I've been focusing on getting stronger, and you want mass when you're lifting heavy. Like it's a benefit to have a lot of mass on you. And now everything is done, so now I can shed some weight. That's going to be fun. So starting tomorrow, actually, I will start to be more serious with dieting again and start to do a lot more cardio and stuff like that to trim myself up a bit.
Cool. That's really cool.
You know, I dream about doing some nice races with you, you know, bike races. Vätternrundan in Sweden, biking for, what is it? 30 kilometers?
30.
Yeah, that's a big dream I have. So
300 kilometers, not 30.
300, 30. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. 30 is quite long, and then I'm like, oh, that's to my work. That's not very long.
No.
300 kilometers. Sorry. Yeah. So that's the stuff. I want to do that before I get too old. Now that sounds strange. I'm not too old, but I want to do it. And I think now is the right time to actually start moving towards those goals. So now I have been killing it at the gym, so now it's time to kill it at every other department in life.
That sounds amazing. So what are you you're actually starting tomorrow then?
Yeah. This is my last supper today. No, it's not that hard actually. The secret, like losing weight, is kind of easy when you understand it. It's just the discipline that's hard, and to like set your mind to it, because the math of it is easy.
Yeah.
So I've done it before, and I actually look really forward to it. But now I'm gonna take a detox week where I will like eat the same kind of food for a week now, just to set my mind to it. And then me and my friends have actually talked about getting together and cook together. Like
cool.
We gather once a week and make a lot of lunch boxes and portion it out, so we have the whole week done. And I think that's easier if you can just gather some friends, because it's kind of hard to do by yourself, to plan and set out a whole week by yourself. So that's a good tip for you.
Wow, that sounds so fun.
Yeah, and look around you. There's like almost always friends that wants to change their diet and get help with stuff like that. So band together with some friends and start plan some nice cozy meals for you.
I'm looking around me and I only see Wilson. I'm looking forward and I'm seeing you on the screen, but that doesn't help with my cooking. I don't want to put like a little iPad with your face on next to my stove. That's like I'm very jealous. I want to be there with you and the gang.
Soon as the COVID situation is over, I will bike to you once a month and help you cook food.
Oh, that's lovely. But how are you actually gonna solve it? Are you gonna like cook for 10 people on one stove?
Yeah,
it's gonna be
and like spend the whole day together. Start at the gym working out and then go home and cook some food.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Looking very much forward to hear how your first week has been in the next episode of Hypetrain podcast, Hannes.
Wow. Summing it up, nice.
Have the train arrived to the station? Or do you need some more Tesla stories?
We need to wrap it up right now, people, before more stories come out. This has been this has been the Hypetrain podcast. Oh, I love this little moment we have each week, Martin.
Me too.
It's a highlight of my week.
Same here. I feel so uplifted afterwards, actually. So thank you, Hannes, and thanks to anyone listening in to our ramblings and our unedited raw food pasta that we pour on your plates directly from the package.
Chuga, 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 chuga.
Chuga. Woo!